me just like,
Well, you wouldn't know what that feels like, would you?
bruv, you're about half a year from being in the same boat as me. Please, you have literally got
6 months.
what looks like a really bad copy of a McDonald's M on the top of your head.
6 months is a long time.
What?
And that's the intro.
Welcome back to your go-to geek podcast. We are just going to get started. We're just going to have some fun. It's another late Tuesday night for us, and we're going to get this episode out. We technically have no plan. We have literally just spent the last 5 minutes trying to come up with stuff to talk about. Kurt's even thrown a quiz together. Laferde's rejoined us from his little week break. Well done, mate. Thanks for coming back.
I don't see Tony here.
Yeah, Tony. Yeah, Tony has, had a lot going on, and do you know what? I will back him in this. I know he's had a lot going on.
I know.
He needs another week off, all right?
I've got new things I've got to say, so...
What about Tony?
No, me and Tony are cool. That was last season where we weren't on the same team. Me and Tony are cool now. We had a good car journey. We're on the same
Yeah, I
page.
know. You become like best mates on that car journey, didn't you? Literally, like Tony was like ringing me after he got out of the car. I was like, "Oh my god, I've never realised how much I loved Laferde. He was like the best person ever. I just thought he was just a quiet, shy boy, and then he just does things out of the blue. Yeah, that's pretty much Laferde."
Oh, so we've got such a brotherhood going at the moment. Me and Ryan had to do a whole pod, just the two of us, just to feel like we had a bit of competition at the very least. Us versus them now.
Yeah, but we've had a brotherhood since the day we met, mate. Like, come on. Forget them two. Listen, I've been in boats before where people start teaming up. I'm not doing it again. Let's just be a brotherhood. Let's be a community. This is Talks with Dorks. This is whatever episode number it is. And something I have to point out at the beginning of this episode, because we never do this, and we really should start doing it. Did you know, boys, that there is about an 80% of people that will listen or watch a podcast who don't follow or subscribe? Yeah.
We're shaking our heads for the people that just listen.
Yeah, you should probably respond to me when I say something like that.
Shame on you if you don't subscribe.
Yeah, but some people just don't realise they don't, because they have it. For example, if you go to Spotify, you don't always have to be following a podcast for it just to be on your homepage. It's just because you've listened to a few episodes. So please take a second to just check whether you're following or subscribing, and if you've got an extra 10 seconds, you could leave us a review as well. We are currently, I'm not even going to brag, sitting at a quite high review. We don't have super amounts of reviews, but we've got a 5-star rating right now. Let's keep that going. Or if there is something you want to tell us about, you want us to change, or you don't enjoy it, hey, come on, we're here to be listened to, and if we don't like the answer, you can fuck off. Boys, we've got no plan. What do you want to talk about? I'm not Cody Rhodes, but I'm doing my best impression. What have you been up to? What's been going on?
I mean, I've lived my very boring life over the last week, really. It's mainly been house errands and stuff like that. It's part of the reason I've got nothing to talk about today. However, I do have a little nerd quiz that I've knocked together. This is my third really normal pod episode. We talked about this last week. Like my first episode, it was kind of a welcome to the team, and we were talking predominantly never say die stuff anyway. Every episode I've done since then was wrestling related. Last week was kind of my first actual just normal geek podcast. Since it's now my second, I figured, do you know what, I want to come full circle here. Since we got no major plan today, you welcomed me to the team by kind of testing my sort of general knowledge trivia. I had an opportunity last week to get, my nerd side out a little bit. So I'm getting my own back today. And it's annoying that Tony's not here for me to get my own back on him, since he was quizmaster on my first episode. But I've got a little quiz knocked together myself. And it's a proper dork quiz. None of this general knowledge bollocks. This is testing your nerddom.
The good stuff.
I'm in for that. I'm down for that. I love a quiz. And Laferde, I said it in the lobby while we were waiting to record, but I am going to fucking smash you this quiz, because I'm gangster when it comes to geek shit. I am the man.
You've been around for longer. That's the only advantage you've got.
Ooh, yep. And before you mentioned the hairline, your hairline.
I wasn't even going to go there. You know what?
I'm going to say
it about a brotherhood. I wasn't going to go there. And just to throw that in there, Kurt, we have tattoos that match. You two don't, so you can say whatever you want.
Me and Kurt have a tattoo that match, but you're never going to see it. We got it done at Pride. That's all we'll say.
I don't believe you. The people listening don't believe you.
Yep, this isn't an OnlyFans account, thank you. That's all you need to know, sunshine.
Only Dorks
Although if you
account.
do fancy paying us, we do have a Patreon nowadays.
Do you know what? That is a very good point, Kurt. That brings us to so much we've got to talk about because, to be fair, we said we haven't got a lot to talk about. We've actually got a bit of TDW. Did I do the initials right first time?
Yeah.
did.
TDW news, which is obviously Talk Wrestling. Laferde, since you didn't watch last week's episode, we have officially announced that TDW is a thing. And we had, I know you've just watched it, we had a little message from Parky, who did name drop you, sort of, Lafleur.
Obviously.
But we'll talk about that a bit later. I'm sure you'll have some feedback about that. And we might even have a response from one of the main people he was talking about in that video to talk about. Ooh. And bring it back to Patreon. Yes, we are one of those podcasts that now has a Patreon. Kurt, do you want to give a little bit of information on what we've got on the old Patreon and what to come on the Patreon?
So, for starters, if you've heard us banging on about, we might have mentioned it once or twice, that little wrestling show that we put on the 31st of May might have come up. So, obviously, 31st of May, we're still only a couple of weeks removed from Talks with Dorks presents Never Say Die. Not only was it an awesome show, we came away absolutely buzzing. The crowd, if you were there, thank you so much, you were awesome. But we know that there was a few people who either couldn't get there or people who wanted to be able to relive it after the fact as well. I mean, I definitely did. I didn't want to... I wanted that day to just keep on looping round over and over again. So, thank you to the amazing photographers and videographers that we had there as well. We recorded everything. Multiple camera angles, we did it proper. And on that Patreon, if you fancy supporting Talk Dork Podcast and everything that we do on Patreon, again, we are on Patreon nowadays, nice and simple, Patreon/Talk Dork Podcast, same as all the usual socials. And we have just one tier if you want to support us on Patreon. There might be multiple tiers that eventually come up.
I was going to say, so far.
So far. There might be multiple tiers that eventually come up as and how and when it grows, but we're starting off with just one tier. The $3 tier. If you support us for just $3, you currently get access to everything. And for the record, if we do more tiers, we won't take anything away from the $3 tier. It will be the additional tier has more stuff, if anything. That would be fair.
I'll say something.
Well, you put your hand up.
You said doo-doo, that's poo. Carry on.
We are professionals, we swear. No.
That's not a swear word. That's what I'd say to my 5-year-old.
But yeah, we have the $3 tier. We're not going to take anything away from that $3 tier. If we do add additional stuff, it will be additional stuff. So currently for that $3 tier, you get everything. And that includes full access to the full on-demand recording of Never Say Die. There's actually 2 versions that are on that Patreon. I'm not sure if the second version's up just yet, but it's about to be. One, basically as it was recorded. So you essentially get to live it as is. And the other one, we've done a commentary track for it. So if you want to find out more about like the backstories and the motivations behind the people that are in those matches and, have it full broadcast style, there's the commentary track version as well. We wanted to do both versions because it gives you the option at the very least. I know some people, you feel like the commentary takes away from it. Other people like to have the full package. You got both. You can choose between the two as it stands. Also, there'll be plenty of additional content that goes on there as well, behind the scenes stuff, blooper reels, whatever it might be, and stuff that would not normally be on the usual podcast on Spotify and YouTube. Also, if you subscribe to us and join that Patreon at the $3 tier, you get a producer credit, you get your name in the credits on future podcasts that we do going forward as a special thank you and a big shout out to supporting the podcast. We want to make this as big and as awesome as we possibly can.
I'm going to up that. Let's not just say it's going to be your name in the credits. We will do a roundup of everyone's names, give a special mention on every episode because, why would we not do that? Make it more personal. We'll start making it more personal and interacting with the people that interact with us.
Oh, absolutely. This is where, if you're in the Patreon, you direct message us to say which one of us you want us to read your name out. We get to find out who the favourite dork is.
Yeah, make it personal.
I'm going to be busy than that.
Yeah, to be fair, it might be the one thing you actually start doing.
I knew it was my time to shine soon.
Speaking of that, though, that is another little announcement we've got. I suggested to the boys last week, we need to utilise our socials more than we already are. We do it. I'm not saying we don't do a lot because we are always doing stuff, but like TikTok and videos and that, it's generally not a lot we're actually putting out, really, in some sense. But we've got more. And I suggested to the boys, why don't we all start doing something individually, like once a week, if we can do it, and putting out some videos. Kurt jumped at the chance when I said to him, why don't you do the wrestling roundup? So for us tomorrow, by the time this comes out, it will already be out. Wednesdays is going to be your day, right, Kurt?
Wednesday's going to be the day, yep. So I'm going to basically do the roundup on a Tuesday, so immediately after Monday Night Raw. So it will go out on a Wednesday morning, purely because by the time I've done all the editing, of course, Raw goes on overnight, so it's really Tuesday by the time we actually get a chance to review it. With all the editing, I have two options: whack it out on a Tuesday night at coming up midnight, or send it out on a Wednesday morning. Makes more sense, Wednesday morning more than anything. So yeah, Wednesday mornings will be the wrestling roundup, and not just Monday Night Raw. We decided to do it as close to Raw as possible, because of course that's when there's going to be a lot of big news. But I'm reviewing everything. Raw, SmackDown, AEW, AAA if there's anything worth a mention, TNA, Independence, and of course, if there's any updates around the TDW side of things, then yeah, it's all going to be on there. And as it turns out, I bit off more than I could chew with my first one, because we figured, we'll do a quick wrestling roundup, 5 minutes or less on TikTok. Turns out, there was a fucking shit ton of news that happened in the last week.
R-Truth got hired, rehired, refired, rehired. Yeah.
9 minutes the first video is, and I can't get it down any shorter. So it's a bumper pack in the first one, but going forward, we're going to try and get it in 5 minutes or less.
Or this is work in progress. It could be. I suggested to Kurt, why don't you do like a 2-minute video for TikTok and upload the full version on YouTube, so people head over to YouTube and subscribe. Or you could upload the full version to Patreon, and we can make more money out of people. I mean, get more supporters and followers, because we're not here to make money.
Wrestling shows cost money.
Right. Laferde needs a hair transplant.
Wow, that's ironic.
Well, I've now succumbed to the baldness. You are now the one in denial.
I'm not in denial. I'm just aging gracefully.
You're less likely to be in denial, more likely to be in the Thames.
In the
To be fair, I'm going to mention this. What you, dear Talks with Dorks listener or viewer, missed before we press record today was me and Ryan in the lobby having a little chinwaggoner chat just before Laferde joined us. And Ryan's son was sat on his lap. And milliseconds after joining, was it Ronnie, I think it was?
Yeah.
Just pulls Ryan's hat off and goes, "Daddy, where's your hair gone?"
Yeah. He keeps healing me out like that. He keeps doing it. He did it to me in front of his teacher at his dance show last week. Yeah, like we all know that I had a lot of anxiety going through this. I am getting more comfortable. I went to Peppa Pig World yesterday with the kids for Ronnie's birthday, and I was going on rides with my bald head out, and I weren't conscious about it. Well, I kind of was, but I also wasn't. It was actually when I went to see the pictures at the end, I was like, oh yeah, I'm bald. Forgot about that. Speaking of pictures from that, I'm probably going to have to upload it now onto the screen and make sure it's there. So I'll tell you the full story. Laferde, you saw the picture of Ronnie, didn't you?
Oh, I did.
Kurt, obviously you see it. So my little boy, he's 5 years old, and obviously he has additional needs. He's autistic, and so his communication is different to the average 5-year-old, and he has different ways of communicating. He was going on rides, but he was also saying if he didn't want to go on one, and we decided to take him onto the water slide that they've got there, where you get a little rubber dinghy. And as we were walking up, Ronnie said, no slide, and we just pursued on to see if he would get up there. When we got there, said he seems okay. We queued up, and there's 4 different dinghies in that. My partner and Jacob got into my partner. I apologize that my missy. Trini and Jacob got into one dinghy. Me and Ronnie got the other, and he was quiet. He was fine. Also, I thought. He sat down, and I put my legs around him. I got him to hold on. And yep, he was holding on quite tight, so I knew he was quite okay. And we off this thing lifted us up, and we went down, flying down. I could hear the other dinghy, the other 2 were screaming. Ronnie was sat there quiet, and I'm thinking to myself, he likes it. He's really enjoying it. We hit the bottom, and as soon as it stops, I was like, "Did you have fun?" He starts crying his eyes out. I'm like, "Oh no, that didn't go to plan." And then he's upset. So we walked over to the pictures, and the picture that will probably come up about now, you'll see that I didn't see Ronnie's face going down, and you can tell 1000% that Ronnie had the worst time of his life, to say the least. He was petrified, and you can see it written all over his poor little face. So yeah, good dad.
You can see it written all over his white knuckles as he's gripping on for dear life.
Oh, I feel so sorry. I can't help but laugh at that picture. I feel so bad, but it is so funny. Like, wow, that's a learning curve of having a child with additional needs that can't always tell you what he likes and dislikes. Turns out he was being quiet because he was actually getting used to the thought of going down it. He was fucking petrified and was thinking, "Dad, you're a prick, mate." And I'll take that. I'll take that forever. Yeah, that was fun. Me and Jacob actually did some TikTok. Got a video of me and Jacob. So we went on this ride there called Cobra. It's a roller coaster. And I said to Jacob, as soon as it gets to the ramp, starts going up, Cody roads it. So as soon as we got to it, bang, start going up. Adrenaline in my soul. All the way up. As we went on the top, and as it went on the peak, literally as we hit at the peak, we timed it perfectly to hit the wall as we go. And me and Jacob were like, yeah! Like, it was so like one try. We got, and then we filmed it the second time. I got the missus to film it as we're going up. You just hear us getting further and further away, quiet, and as it goes, you hear, whoa! Love a bit of Peppa Pig World. I mean, I could sit here and go on about it. You two have not been up to much the last week. I've got loads. I've been up to loads.
Incredibly boring life. Do you know what I've been doing for the most part over the course of the last evenings and weekends? Editing the wrestling show. Please subscribe to the Patreon.
Yeah, because that was all the point.
Validate me.
When you said before about the Patreon, we done a commentary, like you done a commentary, because we can look at like Kurt has been working his arse off, being really, really good at getting involved in doing stuff, or maybe I can see through it already because I'm not stupid. I've been around the block. I've seen it all before. Kurt is making it all about himself, and he went and did the fucking commentary on his own.
So genuinely, it was supposed to be me and Max, but Max was having internet issues, and the idea of getting us both to try and record a track on the same record from two separate locations with Max's internet was just, it wasn't going to be doable in any degree of time scale. So we kind of hit the point where I just went, screw it, I'm going to Joey Styles this. I didn't want to do it on my own, but it was like, for the sake of getting it done in a relatively timely manner and getting it up there within a couple of weeks of the show going out, I bit the bullet. This was not me, and the more I say this, the more it sounds like I'm digging my own grave at this point, but this was not me taking it over. It was me
no, of course, but we
having to do it.
We said last week, obviously, the first, I love that we're basically having a business chat with you on here and inform you of all the progress we made in 1 week that you and Tony weren't here. But we were saying last week, like, you've done the commentary like that. We could, for example, like, it's all Patreon stuff, bonus stuff. What if we asked the wrestlers to commentate their matches? For example, diversions, extra content. What was going through your head at this point? You talk through it and do stuff like that. We've got loads of ideas. This is why we're expanding and growing. And yes, we are saying, like, come give us money, I suppose. But
we'll make it worth your while.
We're trying to make it worth your while. We're growing what we do, and we, like to think, especially after May 31st, you like what we do, at least wrestling wise. Maybe not when we're rambling on about Ryan scaring the life out of his kids.
Father of the year.
We haven't started the parenting advice yet, don't worry.
Yeah, we're not getting down that bit.
That's season 5.
Talks with Dorks Nursery is pending.
Before we get into TDW news and all that, before we get into Kurt's quiz, there's been a little bit of geek news I wanted to bring up. One of them being DC news, because I don't know if you've noticed, but I love this as a... What's the word? As you'll know, the instant way is as such a DC fan. Have you guys noticed? Where's, like, yes, there's promotion, and I wouldn't want there to, like, be overshadowed to say, like, fuck Marvel, but it's nice to see there's a lot of Superman news going around, and a lot of Superman stuff going around, and Fantastic Four comes out a week or two after. And yes, there's stuff going around, but the buzz, unless I'm just overhyping
No, I'll be honest. I'll be honest. I'm not a DC loyalist or a Marvel loyalist. Like, I just like good superhero movies. I tend to lean more towards Marvel than DC, but that's not one over the other.
I just sit there like I'm not a Marvel fan.
Yeah, you say nothing. You're wearing your fucking Wolverine shirt today.
Come on,
but yeah,
Mark.
but yeah, like I just like good superhero movies. But yeah, like unless the YouTube algorithm has just decided for me, you need to see Superman. But yeah, I'm finding that I am seeing significantly more Superman hype than Fantastic Four hype.
And
I've seen like one clip of the four.
Like, I can't explain, as someone that has been, I mean, literally, again, I have Superman tattooed on my arm. Obviously, I've got Batman, I've got other bits, but Superman, like, Superman and Batman were the first ones. And we've had a lot of Batman hype over my life. Superman, we had Lois and Clark, the series, amazing. Smallville, great series, but it was never Superman. It was Clark Kent, and he was fucking phenomenal. And I even met him. I've got his signature, etc. That guy. But then, movie-wise, the ones that I remember is Superman Returns, which didn't hit like it should have done. And there was hype, but there wasn't hype from what I remember. Then you had Man of Steel. Again, because it wasn't called Superman, to me, I remember thinking at the time that people weren't realizing what it was. And Batman v Superman, like, I remember people mentioning, there's a Batman v Superman film with the cinemas right now. Even though there'd been promotion, it just didn't seem like everyone was excited for it.
I mean, I watched the film. There might have been a reason why they didn't hype it that much.
Listen, I love that film.
Yeah, I like that film.
I love that film. I actually, other than when I came out of the Joss Whedon Justice League, I was hyped as hell. I liked all of the DC films, but they just needed more. There was so, like, especially with the Snyderverse, and please don't get upset, Snyder fans. Actually, do you know what? At this point, fuck the Snyder loyalists, because they are no, because I'm a Superman fan. I love the Snyderverse. I love that. But there's some people that will literally... there's a thing going around on Reddit of people like Snyderverse. We have to make this film flop. Like, are you mad?
Yeah.
Why would you mad? Why would you... Like, I'm sorry, but there's not 1 millisecond of the clips of this film I've seen that I am not excited for.
I'll be honest. Like I said, I thought that Cavill was an amazing Superman. I mean, Cavill is king of the nerds, full stop. I said this last week. And between Superman, The Witcher, and the fact that the man will absolutely derail any press junket he is doing if you get him talking about Warhammer. That this is old hat at this point, but I just want to double check you guys have seen this. Have you ever seen the clip of Henry Cavill who's doing a press junket and mentions that he's a Warhammer fan, and the interviewer turns around to him and says, "Oh, what are you doing, 40k? What do you play as?" And Henry Cavill immediately abandons the interview, starts talking about Warhammer, and essentially sets up a play date with the interviewer in about 3 seconds flat.
Should we? Yeah. That conversation. And do you know what? There's a bit that bugs me. The girl in the room in that laughs in like a you're a nerd kind of laugh.
Yeah.
And it was like, read the room, love.
This is how easy it is for guys to make friends.
Yeah, that's all it is. This is how easy it is to make friends. That guy sitting next to you on my screen, like, literally was a look round his arms, and like 2 days later we had a matching tattoo.
Yeah.
That sounds really weird. Like, if you haven't listened to our story before, please go check what happened.
I got kidnapped.
But yeah, Cavill I thought was an awesome Superman. Again, king of the nerds, like I say. However, from the few clips of this new Superman movie I've seen, and I'm on record of not being the biggest Superman lover in the world. I think I've said before, when you have to create a weakness for your superhero, you've already done something wrong. But the most invested I've ever been in Superman as an actual character and personality, like just the clips of him in the interview with Lois, trying to justify himself and getting frustrated that she's taking the typical journalist angle with him, and actually letting that human side come out. Like, you so rarely see that in Superman adaptations.
My eyes have never gone wider for just a man leaning forward in a chair and changing the tone.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's not just the glasses.
With 2 words. It's the way, like, I was listening because you watch my reaction on our YouTube channel to that, the trailer reaction. You see me sort of going, looking when he's talking as Clark, and I was like, oh, we finally getting a bit of Clark. And then she says Superman, doesn't she? And he just the way he leans forward, and it's
Full.
not even a massive change in his voice, Miss Lane.
But that's the thing, like, everyone always says, oh, Superman, it's a rubbish disguise, like, he just puts on glasses, and how can you not tell it's Superman? It's a 100% shift in everything from voice, character, body language, everything, and the glasses just complete that. Like, you see that in that one scene, transitioning from Clark to Superman.
He set the tone with that. I mean, is it Superman 2 where he goes to Lois's, takes the glasses off, he straightens himself. It's like all we did was that, but you just felt him in that moment, just with the glasses off. He changed to Superman, and he was just about to tell her his secret, and he bottled it. And how quickly he fumbles again. That is something that is hard to, it's going to be hard for any actor to do, but to do that and smash it. I'm not saying the thing is with Henry Cavill. We never really saw his Clark.
No.
What are you doing, Kurt?
Case in point.
He's got hair.
Yeah, look, see, he looks like an absolute fucking nerd.
Yeah. Case in point. For the listeners, I've gone into Clark Kent mode.
He's gone from
/
Harry
showing
Potter.
solidarity with the Third. But
Yeah.
But yeah, it makes a difference.
But keeping with Henry Cavill, have you seen the picture, the last picture I put in the group of Henry Cavill?
Oh, I have not.
Have a look, Kurt. So in that new Superman teaser that was released, which focuses quite a bit on his as Lex Luthor, which is brilliant. It's hearing Lex Luthor talk more. There is also there is a really cool clip of Lois driving Mr. Terrific's ship, which is cool, which shows that Lois is a badass. That's what we need, a badass Lois. And then there's also a scene where it looks like it's in like a tunnel, and somebody is heat visioning Superman. And if you freeze frame it, there's a lot of buzz about this. People think it's Lobo, but then people are quick to debunk because Lobo doesn't have heat vision.
No.
So it'd be a really bad call. People also are saying it could be Ultraman, who's in obviously the clip in the black outfit, unmasked. But if you look at that picture, yes, it does look like Lobo, but because of the heat vision, I genuinely believe it's not Lobo, and it's not a quick early appearance of Jason Momoa in the DC universe. But you also do see what looks like a long-haired Henry Cavill. And weirdly,
and if you've seen photos of Henry on like press tours at the moment, the silhouette matches.
It's scary, and I would not be upset about it, because there's rumours that Ultraman Unmasked is actually a Superman clone. Now, you bring Henry Cavill's Superman into the third, kind of, or there is something like that. That says to me they're going to do what I've always said. There's going to be a multiverse, and we will see that Justice League again. Mm-hmm. Again, I have so many little things. Again, I said I wanted to talk about the Batman news that James Gunn.
Oh yes, we were talking about this recently.
So obviously, Batman has not been cast. There's the Batman 2 has been delayed again. We believe. I can't remember if it's been official, but it's been delayed again. Again, the reason for that they're going with is that the script just isn't ready. And James Gunn, and this is. The more I hear this, the more I love what he's doing with DC. He is not putting something forward. That slate that we saw 4 years ago, whenever it was, for the DC movies, included Batman Brave and the Bold, it has changed quite a bit. Supergirl's now second movie, for example, because he's only making movies with scripts that are ready. And that, to me, is the ultimate thing, because that it brings us to Batman.
I mean, just before you go into Batman, that... And I'm not the only guy who said this. That, if you ask me, is what screwed the Justice League from the Whedonverse
rushed
/
everything.
Snyderverse.
From movie
Rushed
one,
it.
they rushed everything.
Yeah,
They
they were
rushed
so
everything.
desperate to get to that big ensemble movie without laying the groundwork and establishing these heroes in their own right. They did the reverse of Marvel. Half the Justice League got introduced in Justice League. Which, obviously, Avengers, we'd had multiple solo movies to establish each of these heroes individually so that you were, obviously as a superhero fan, you want to see the team up anyway, but but this particular version of these characters, you were eager to see them team up and interact. And then, yeah, with Whedon and Snyder, they just kind of went, no, we'll start with the team up and then do the solo movies after that. And it spectacularly failed. So I'm all for Gunn taking his time to properly establish things.
So what he said, there was James Gunn, who the hell? James Gunn has revealed that he actually has found that Batman is the hardest person to incorporate into this universe. Hence why he has not done anything with Batman as of yet. And the Batman 2 has been put back a little bit. It's because it doesn't want it unless it's ready. Now, he said that he finds Batman hard because Batman, every story's been told. All the big stories of Batman have been told already. So, it's retelling it again and again. He's sort of holding back on it because he doesn't just want Batman. He has to have a reason to be in this world of superheroes. So just his take and the way he talks about it. Now, to me, if you ain't rushing Batman, it's fine. Not only it was 2022 we got Batman. Before that,
Near enough, yeah.
In the last, when was Dark Knight Rises?
2014.
So
No,
yeah,
2012.
2012, yeah.
In the last 13 years, we've had at least 3 Batman, not unless you count Kevin Conroy, the Dark Knight games. We've had a lot of Batman.
Plus Keaton making a reappearance.
And George Clooney.
Yep. So we've had, seven Batmen on screen in 13 years?
If you hold it back, as long as you don't give me an old Batman that is at the end of his... Give me a newer Batman. It doesn't have to be seeing the parents getting killed in the alley.
Yeah, the origin story again.
Please skip over that. Get us a Batman, that is a detective, that is ready to take on, maybe even not even ready to take on otherworldly beings. Maybe that's what we need to learn from him, is a Batman that is, hang on, there's now, I'm just a man, there's aliens. How do I fight these? I need a backup plan for a Superman, for a Wonder Woman, for all this. That Batman. Because, trust me, there's some great comics, you could tell.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, with the Patterson Batman, we've lent closer to Batman Year One, but also really showed that detective side of him that very rarely gets an outing on screen. It's one of the reasons I love the Batman.
Yeah, especially in film, it's hard, isn't it?
Obviously, with Batfleck, we got the more experienced, almost Dark Knight Returns version of Batman. I think Ben Affleck was amazing as Batman, just in fairly rubbish films. But yeah, we had established Batman midway through the career. It's arguably too soon to do this because Gunn's not going to rush through doing actual Batman to jump to this. But if he stays in the game long enough, I'd love to see a live-action Batman Beyond. Get Terry McGinnis on it.
Exactly. What says you can't do that? Why can, again, he's got the whole universe. There's multiverse. There could be so much out there. He could, but timing is of the essence with him, because I hate to say it, but Michael Keaton is getting older. You could do a Batman Beyond and ignore the Flash universe, because maybe there's more than one version of Batman that looks like Michael Keaton. You could do that. Or you could. You don't even need to ignore it. Maybe you can make that a part of it. Whatever. Technically, he died, but you could bring him back.
Oh, spoilers.
Yeah, yeah. It's past. It's 2 years. Has it been 2 years? Or
yeah,
2 years. Fucking hell. 2 years since the Flash. Exactly. There's so much you could do with it, and I have a lot of faith. And I mean, one thing I was just thinking to myself just now. So when this started, this podcast, it was 2021. A lot of time there was me and Ash were doing without not realizing it. We knew we were doing it. There was a lot of Warner Brothers DC bashing as such because we weren't really deep down happy with what was going on. So now that we've just had a 15, 20-minute conversation about DC in the most positive light, trust me, take this Batman and Superman fan is very happy, and I'm very, very open. Again, can't wait for Fantastic Four. Looking forward to it, and I'm just going to drop the bombshell here. What date are you guys going to be going to see Superman at least? On the 11th? I'm going to see it on the 8th of July. Oh yeah, oh yeah.
And what type of screening, Ryan?
It is a multimedia screening. I'm probably going to see some famous people. Might even get a freebie. I don't know. I mean, come on. I've got a bandana around here somewhere from the Karate Kid. You should be as cool as me.
Fading.
Pardon?
Your two bromances fading away quickly by the look on Kurt's face.
I don't care. Listen, I don't care. Come at me. Everyone can turn against me. I can take on all comers. Don't care.
Out of everyone else on the Talks with Dorks team, I live closest to you, Ryan. I will get in my car now.
Oh, yeah, you do, don't you? Oh, man. Wow. Okay.
Where do you think Tony really is?
Yeah, Tony's on his way here now.
Tony's in his basement.
Shut up. I was going to talk about some He-Man knowledge, but you guys don't know. I don't think you were the He-Man either, right? That's probably something safe.
Is that even politically correct to call him these days?
They man.
Just call them.
Again, I don't know if I'm going to get in trouble for saying it. Again, it wasn't like it was something noticed, but the other day went into a shop around here and noticed the person behind the shop had at least 8 badges letting you know they them rackets, and I was like, do you really need 8?
Yeah, put 7 on them, black. Not sure if we can tell yet.
Like, not being horrible, like, because there's this whole thing, I think, with this. Look, you can be whatever you want to be, but you cannot tell me how I'm meant to think because I've thought this way my entire life and I can't help the way I think. But that to me is like, make sure you get it right in my eyes.
Yeah, to be fair, I don't mind the badge. I'm okay with the badge. Like, name, pronoun, done. The magic number 8 is what made me blink at that. Like, there was separate badges.
There was like a
Maybe it's for blind people like me. Like, we might not see the first time.
What?
It could be my blind spot, which is everywhere.
Maybe one of them was Braille. We don't know. I don't
think you get in trouble if you go around feeling people up like that.
What?
Well, let me just feel your chest to just find out your pronouns. Fucking hell, I'm not here next week. I'll be in prison.
Say them.
Oh, great.
Sorry, like we're not here to be. I'm just saying, like, to me,
it's a good job we're not monetised yet, isn't it?
Oh yeah, join our Patreon.
We went up in the nursery. It's all right.
Yeah, we do not judge you. You can be whatever you want. Just don't tell me 8 times. You know. Again, I said the badge. I actually don't disagree with the badge because.
Is it like a name badge? I've never seen it. What do you mean?
It's literally like a little fucking
like a little pin.
Pin that literally just says they them. And to be honest, if I remember, they had a they them and he him, and I was like, well, there was 2 different ones. I know there was 2 different ones, and I was like, so that's confusing. So what do I call you? Oi, waffle.
Yeah, but to be fair, you've seen the name badges quite a lot nowadays. Even my work has them, which just say Curtis. That's my real name, by the way. It's not a Kurt. It's a Curtis. It's a pain in the arse. But it'd say Curtis, he, him. Fine, no worries, 0 confusion. Nice that everyone can just move on.
Oh, you have to have one.
It's just we have our name badges anyway, and they got into the habit recently of having the pronouns on it. It's on my signature on my emails. Curtis, last name, he, him, and yeah, fine. For the sake of no one feeling awkward and no confusion, I'm fine just whacking the pronouns on the end of it. Again, it's the fact you said 8 separate badges to hammer home the point. That's what got me then. Yeah.
That's what I mean. It was just like throwing it down your throat. Right. Anyway, stop the political talk about this because we go down a route and there'll probably be a clip from this we could use. Right. Time for some TDW news. We had a video last week from Parky. Parky was quite upset. I had some choice words for a few people, including Laferde. He He may have ruffled a few more feathers. He believes he's been seen as a joke, as one thing. Has still to this point refused to pay the fine, which we'll come back to after we
I was about to say, have we checked the bank account yet?
Yeah, he still refused to pay the fine, which is something we need to get the GMs definitely to approach, because I feel like the GMs might need to step in. Well, again, we are the executive team, but the GMs need to do their role, know their role, and take control over this. But Laferde, obviously, you weren't there to comment last week on your thoughts about the Parky situation. He did mention your name. Anything you want to say?
It's just cute that he mentioned me straight away, isn't it? Really. I knew he was a little fanboy, but he's taking it a bit too far there. There's other guys in the team apart from me. I love that he went out to go buy a chair and struggled to fold it up for a start.
That's all people have been talking about. Was that chair was the biggest hill in that video.
Yeah, he's not. I don't feel very threatened, or I don't think anyone else should feel very threatened. He's just a little angry guy, isn't he?
Angry Scotsman. There's something I didn't, pick up on as well. He also said, is it because he's the only Scottish person? Technically, I'm half Scottish. My dad was Scottish, so, I'm all inclusive. We just mentioned that. I'm happy for you to wear whatever badge you want, as long as you don't have 15 of them. So anyway, I'd be careful of her, because, he did, like he said, leave a trail of destruction. And
All right, we'll just ban him from the venue.
You're an exec, you have the power to do that, but again, just I don't want us to be upsetting talent. I know you like having on.
What talent are we upsetting?
Oh, mate. Right. Anyway, listen. You can sit there smirking like. I know 2 security guards because I worked with them at the weekend. It was still feeling a bit rubbish after them chair shots. So
It sounds like there's going to be more than 2.
Shot from Parky.
Right?
Anyone can hit someone with a chair.
Oh, Laferde. Okay, listen. Again.
Parky got done in by a cosplayer. Come on. We can't take him that seriously.
Oh, because speaking of that cosplayer, you got to remember that cosplayer. Again, you're listening to his video and going by the fact that he's calling him a man that plays dress up. That man that plays dress up has been in the wrestling ring more before Never Say Die. He has been a wrestler. He hasn't wrestled a long time, but I feel like he might have gotten a bug from May the 31st to go do something, and he may. Well, Parky's definitely looking for words with him, and I don't know what the GMs are going to say. I don't know what other people are going to say, but it's getting interesting. Would you like to see who sent us a message, what it is, and what the response is? Because it's definitely a message for Parky, at least.
Yeah, I'd do it. Give him his 5 minutes of fame.
It's not Parky.
No, I'm on about that's what I mean. Parky, at least he gets a big shout out.
Okay, well, here's the video.
Oh, Parky. What do we address first? Why don't we address that question? Why are you the butt of the jokes? No, it's not because you're Scottish. No, it's not because your chair almost collapsed on you in your last video and we all had to pretend we didn't see it. No, it's because you're an arsehole. It's fun to see arseholes get their comeuppance. You're welcome. What else can we address? We could address, why am I not booked? Why am I not booked? I have no power on that. So we're going to move past that. I would like to point out, though, I too was fined. Because apparently you counted as a Talks with Dorks official in that match. And I put my hands on an official. So I got fined. And you know what? I paid my fine. I also paid double just in case they make you a referee again. What else could we address? Why don't we address the fact that you call me a man that likes to play dress up? Because if you think that that's what it is, if you think cosplay is just people that like to play dress up, boy, have I got a surprise for you. Yes, we pay homage. Yes, we throw on the costumes. And yes, we go to Comic-Con and we like to become characters. You know what? I loved becoming the character when I hit you with that crossroads. But Never Say Die wasn't my first foray between the ropes, and apparently it's not going to be my last. You see, the guy I so dearly play dress up, pretending to be, brought to my attention a quote a long time ago. And that quote is that a man often finds his destiny along the path he walks to avoid it. Well, I think I know where my path's going. So, what do you want to talk about, Parky? I think I know. I think TDW management knows. So let's talk. Let's talk. And if you really want to be booked, let's give them no choice. Doors open. Ball's in your court. Parky, let's talk.
So, boys, we've just had the response from Kev D, the cosplay nightmare, the man that most of Parky's video was aimed at. And any thoughts?
Ladies and gentlemen, a man who pays his fines.
Yes, that is a good point. I didn't want to bring that up because I had seen Kev's response already, and I already knew that he had paid his fine. I also knew that he paid a double. Hey, that man loves Cody Rhodes, but he's also taken a note from Randy Orton's book.
Yeah, that's why I had to ask if Parky had paid the fine or not. Like, check the account, and I was like, oh, right, the full amount's in there for both men. Parky must have finally wised up, but no, Kev is just... I was about to say a fine, upstanding gentleman, but I think you said it there. I think he's done a Randy Orton, so... That's just for next time. But...
Yep, he's paid in advance. There is definitely something there between them. Laferde, any thoughts?
I'm glad I'm not the only one that noticed about the chair.
I told you everyone's talking about that chair.
I think the GMs need to do some like moving and handling training with Parky if he does come back, just to make sure he's trained on using equipment properly.
Not a bad idea. And speaking of the GMs, they are the ones that are in charge of booking matches. And Kev just said straight there and then, let's give them a reason. I think we need to pass this over to the GMs.
Yeah.
We do.
Yes. So, any more TDW news? I actually said the initials right, but then messed up the news word. Any TDW news I'm not thinking of?
No, although to be fair, one thing I did like from that Kev video, like totally away from all the controversy and rivalry that's brewing there, and all the stuff that we're now going to have to do behind the scenes to potentially manage this. But honestly, is it bad that hearing the letters TDW said out loud by someone who wasn't us for the first time? I got a little bit giddy over that.
Thought you'd like that bit. Once again, Laferde, that was Kurt coming up with something and doing a bit of work that nobody else is doing. No, not even going to talk anymore. Okay.
I usually resort to comment about certain things, but I'm a changed man now after my week off.
Still got my Never Say Die poster up there.
I gave a poster to a client the other day. They asked for it, so I was like, "Yeah, of course you can."
Nice. Did you sign it?
No.
Okay, fair enough.
Because I'm not. Funny enough, I'm not on the poster, so.
I mean, it's only talent that's on the poster. Someone did you know someone actually pointed out, right? Because obviously the people on that actual poster has been pretty much the same since the beginning. Other than the odd ones changed here and there. Yeah. But someone pointed out you've actually got. If you look at that bottom row, that's actually two of the matches. Mm-hmm. So there and then you've got the Strong Dads versus the Kings of the Ring, and me and RJ.
Yeah. Which also, shall we skirt around the fact that Ryan, at the time that poster got made, had not accepted the open challenge, and yet still put his face in the middle of the poster.
Right.
That's the point. To be fair, Kurt, you were the announcer and you weren't even on the poster.
Right. Okay. You remember I had help making them posters. I didn't put me on there. What I'm saying, right? I didn't put me on there. I think Woody was the one that did it. Woody put me on there, I believe.
Who?
He's gone full show business.
Woody, my nephew.
Oh, I couldn't hear what he said. It went quiet for me.
Oh, okay, yeah.
No, you went blurry. Like, I thought, oh, great, we've lost him.
I've got a horrible feeling I'm going to have loads of video issues with this. But anyway, Kurt,
we'll try it.
You to make me and Laferde compete with each other.
Alrighty. I love it when his competitive side comes out. So yes, I have got my Quizmaster hat on,
I
and
really
I've
need
got
to
a
pick
bit of a
something up from
nerd culture quiz for the two of you.
Go on,
So,
then.
all aspects of geekdom are fair game as far as we're concerned. So, we're going to do it as a head-to-head type thing. So, I'll go to one of you first, ask you the question. If you know it, grand, you get the point. If you don't know it, I will bounce it to the next person, and they'll have the opportunity to steal. So,
Can I just say,
I have got a fair few questions prepared, but
if I get all the fucking Harry Potter, Game of Thrones questions,
Please give him them questions.
Right, no.
What if
I'll
neither of us know it? Does it just keep bouncing back and forth?
No.
if
Well,
neither of you know it, no one gets the
but,
point,
like,
and I'll just
you,
say what the
You
answer
could
is.
get it wrong, and then I could get it wrong, but then you're like, damn, I know the answer. You know what I mean?
no, but this is the point: is that he asks you a question. If you get it wrong, I have the opportunity to answer, and vice versa.
And if you both get it wrong, doesn't matter if 30 seconds later you go, oh, I know it now. Tough shit, it's gone.
If we both get it wrong, Tony gets the point.
Yeah, keep your hands up. I don't want to see you googling.
Right. So, again, every single aspect of geekdom is up for grabs here. So, I'm going to go in the order that you two are on my screen. So, I'm going to start with Laferde.
Oh, pressure this.
So, these are totally randomised, so God help you if I choose the one thing that you have zero knowledge on. We're starting sci-fi Star Trek knowledge.
All right, we might as well just give him a question. I know nothing about that franchise.
Well, you might know that. You might know this. Not about the series itself. Nice and easy. In what year did the original Star Trek series premiere? And I'll give you the point if you're within 2 years out. So let's say, for example, it was 1980. I'd give it to you for 1978 or 1982.
Fuck knows. 76.
1976. It's going to Ryan for the steal.
Ooh, I'm going to say roughly 1966.
Roughly 1966. Okay, you got 2 years either side to be out. It is 1966 exactly.
I just meant to boldly go where no man has gone before, especially the third.
Was that a total guess, or did you know that?
I'm a fucking Trekkie, brother. I am a fuck. Listen, me and Picard, bruv. Me and Picard.
Right, no bonus points other than pride here. Do you know the month?
Oh, just gonna take a stab and say new TV show, October.
You are so close. It was September 1966. That is good knowledge. Right. Ryan running away with the first point. It's Ryan's question now. And we are still on Star Trek for the moment.
Oh, I love you, Ryan.
True or false? True or false? The writers of Star Trek only created the transporter technology to save costs on showing shots of spaceships landing.
True.
It is true.
To be fair,
The
you
whole-
couldn't have passed that one to the third, could you?
Yeah.
But to be fair, yeah, if it was wrong, you'd have the third was getting a nice
I'll
easy
take
point there.
whatever I
So
can get point-wise right now. Good.
So yeah, no, in Star Trek, the iconic transporter teleporter technology only existed so the writers and producers didn't have to animate or create models of the spaceships landing.
Yeah. And now it's one of the most iconic parts of it.
Absolutely. So, over to the third. We're on video games now. What is the highest grossing video game of all time? It's going to be one of the big iconic ones.
Minecraft.
Minecraft.
Yes.
Locking in Minecraft. Okay. I can tell you it's up there. It's not the highest though. Ryan?
All time. My head's going further back. I don't actually know the answer, but I'm going further back. Like, I could easily say Fortnite,
I think it's somewhere else.
Further back?
but I could easily say for Fortnite, but I think it's Mario, Super Mario 1. There's another
Super Mario 1. So 1985 original Super Mario Brothers.
Yeah.
You are in the right sort of area decade-wise. It's
Tetris,
not
isn't it?
Mario. The highest-grossing video game of all time, released in 1980 and currently having earned roughly $2.5 billion, is Pac-Man.
Do you know what? For some reason, I felt when you said this, instantly went Super Mario, but then I went Sonic, then I went Fortnite when you said Minecraft. But
I just
yeah,
microtransactions and stuff more than anything.
Again, to be fair, Minecraft is up there.
I bet Fortnite is as well.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I think the only reason they're not, close to breaking it yet is just, recency. They've not been around long enough yet to have earned enough money. But, I think if you take, in a 5-year period, Pac-Man versus Minecraft, it's not even close. Minecraft walks all over it if you count, 5 years.
The fact that it's up there in the top fucking 5 already in that time. It's definitely, I think Minecraft's been around longer than 5 years, though, isn't it?
But yeah, if you just took a
2008,
period of
it's
time
what Minecraft
though,
came out then.
and measured these games over a 5-year period, Minecraft would walk all over it. But yeah, obviously Pac-Man's got 45 years worth of history behind it at this point. Right, sticking on video games, going back to the third.
That's Ryan's question, mate.
Is it Ryan's question now?
You just
It is Ryan's question now.
Yeah.
Oh well, sticking with video games then. So,
Yeah, I mean, fair here.
and funnily enough, glad you said Mario originally. What was, when he first debuted in the original Donkey Kong game, what was Mario's name?
Luigi Mario.
It's going to the third.
Oh, fuck! I actually genuinely thought I knew that.
That's Luigi's actual name, is Luigi Mario, and Mario's real name is Mario Mario.
Yeah, that's from a movie in the 90s.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
people
we don't talk about.
I've
Laferde.
got no idea. Let's think.
I can tell you, it's not actually a name, but it's what he was called.
The plumber.
Do you know what? You're thinking on the right sort of lines. It's even more basic than that. In Donkey Kong, what do you do a lot of? What's the main purpose of the game?
Jumping.
His name was Jumpman.
Right, fair enough.
Right. This is Laferde's question now.
God, we look so thick right now. I say we do a geek podcast.
Call yourself
Me.
Dorks.
2 Star Trek points over it.
Right. So, moving over to the world of fantasy. How is your Lord of the Rings knowledge?
Average, I'd say.
Right. Well, I call this an average level of Lord of the Rings knowledge
Yeah, you
question.
said that about Star Trek.
I know, right? So, in the Fellowship of the Ring, how many members are there of the Fellowship? So basically the main characters that make up the Fellowship of the Ring.
Shit.
Yeah, that's one of them. 11.
Fuck no, I don't know.
So, 11.
It's like
Locking
7,
in.
9, or 11, so I'll just go with 11.
Pick one. 7, 9 or 11, which one?
9. Fuck it, we'll go for the middle one.
Fuck it, that 9, okay. You're right to go middle, it's bang on 9. The third gets a point. He's on the
The
board.
only reason I was so confused is I remember seeing the little two, what are the brothers running out of the bush, and I'm thinking, do they count as original members because they joined after they sort of talked about it? So
Yep, so in the Fellowship, it is Gandalf, Aragorn, Legolas, Gimli, Frodo, Sam, Merry, Pippin, and Boromir make your 9.
I've heard of one of them.
Those names mean
You're not Lord
nothing
of the
to
Rings,
Ryan.
Pardon?
you're not a Lord of the Rings guy.
It's something I've only really realised in the last year or so. I clearly don't like fantasy stuff like that. Like Lord of the Rings, can never watch it. Never watched Gladiator. I had Gladiator on video DVD. It's one of the first DVDs I ever got. Never watched it.
Yeah, I've never watched it either.
Harry Potter's, I've seen every single one of
I
them.
love Harry Potter. Give me some of them questions.
I fucking not a fan. Not a fan whatsoever. I can't get into it. Never Game of Thrones, none of that. It's just not me. Not me. Like, come on. If you better not have a Lord of the Rings question for me.
I don't. And you're the superhero man, right? You might be a DC man, you're repping your Marvel shirt today, This is a Marvel question. Between 2008 and 2019, which Avenger has appeared in the most movies? We're counting cameos, voice lines, everything.
I know that.
If they have a credit in the movie, they count.
Would you say Laferde?
I know it, so please fail.
Because this is an open question.
It is.
Don't really
I'm not nice enough to give you multiple choice.
This is an open question, and I am going to take my time with this because I've got a feeling it's not one of the original 6. Because it'd be easy to say Iron Man, but no. I'm going to say, the third. If I get this right, I'm going to fuck you. But I can't say Rhodey.
Rhodey. Laferde.
Captain America.
Captain America. Both wrong.
I literally watched a video.
Right, you're going to be so livid. It's Iron Man.
You sure?
Tony Stark appears in the most Marvel films. If you count cameos, guest appearances, and everything in between, he is in the most.
I'm pretty sure I've seen a video saying Captain America was. Chris Evans is the highest appearing actor across the MCU.
But he did say 2019.
Specifically, between
Yeah,
08 and 19.
That, did he?
Deadpool. You might be thinking of a video that includes him, because you just said you never said then. Whatever way you worded that, and you've seen a video that he's been in the MCU. You've also got to include Fantastic Four.
Yeah,
in that now.
You got to include his cameo at the end of Incredible Hulk,
which was before 2008, and Deadpool.
Oh yeah, true.
After.
Wait, what?
I've got it official. It is Iron Man. Chris Evans is very close behind.
RDJ wasn't in Fantastic Four, was he? What are you on about?
No, Chris Evans was.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, I meant RDJ.
Yeah, that was pre-2008, and his Deadpool Wolverine cameo as Fantastic Four was after.
Okay, so this is the third question now.
No,
we're moving on to Star Wars.
Ooh.
In the entire Star Wars franchise, and we're talking chronologically, not, episode order. So, episode 4, we're starting from. Which character has the first line of dialogue in the entire Star Wars franchise? First line in the first film.
I know the answer to this. You better get this.
I do not know the answer, but I feel like I should.
You should, because I know that. And do you know what? Because I'm nice, I'm going to give you a clue. He also had the last line of dialogue in the prequels.
Fuck knows.
I've got. Okay, am I right in what I just said?
I'm pretty sure you're right.
I know the answer. I'm trying to give you the answer.
Who has the first line in the entire series? And yes, by coincidence, he also has the last line in the prequels.
Fuck no, Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Obi-Wan Kenobi, who appears like 15 minutes in. There's no dialogue for the entire first 15 minutes of Star Wars.
The third, what you've got to think of, right? I'm going to let you take another chance at this because I want this to go even. Right?
I feel like I've understood this question. Say it again.
The very first person to speak in a Star Wars movie, right? The Star Wars movie that opens on
you're brave to say person.
Yeah, there is. There might not be human. They start on a ship, the ship where Vader.
Yeah, I remember that.
Appears for the first time.
Who was talking?
Very first bit of dialogue.
I'll whittle it down for you, because the first scene is Vader.
I know the first
Vader's
scene,
army ambushing the ship. Leia puts the recording into R2-D2 and sends them off. I'll whittle it down for you. Is it Vader, Leia, a random stormtrooper, or C-3PO?
3PO.
You're just basically giving the answer, like, okay.
I won't get a point for that.
He needs a point. Ryan knew off the top of his head. It is 3PO.
The thing that threw me off was that when I didn't realise what you said. The last flying out of whatever one. That's what threw me off.
I know this because the prequels are my trilogy as such. Like I grew up with them and I went to see the cinema, so I remember them making and them talking about the fact that Anthony Daniels has got the last line of dialogue in Revenge of the Sith, because it's when he gets told that they're having their memory wiped. He says, I can't remember, it's like, what do you mean, or whatever he says.
Yeah.
It's just a quick throwaway line. That is the last line. There's more stuff going on, but it's the last line of dialogue. And I know that they gave him that because he was the first line of dialogue in the first movie. I remember that vividly. So
back to Ryan. And we're back on Marvel. Specifically, Spider-Man. Specifically, Spider-Ham. Are you aware of Peter Porker, the Spectacular Spider-Ham?
Yes, I am, but I'm not. Like, I know who he is, and I've seen not Multiverse of Madness,
Into the Spider-Verse.
I've seen it, but like once.
So, if you saw this actually gets explained in the film. Peter Porker, the Spectacular Spider-Ham, how did he get his powers?
I generally don't remember this other than Sam because he got bitten by a bacon sandwich. Laferde, please, if you've got this answer, bring it even.
He was not bitten by a bacon sandwich. Obviously, classic Spider-Man. Peter Parker gets bitten by a radioactive spider.
Is it something simple? If it's the most simple answer to that, Laferde, you better get it.
I feel like... Doesn't he eat a radioactive spider or something?
Eating a radioactive spider. There's actually a supervillain in recent Spider-Man comics who was there when Peter Parker got bit by the spider, and trying to get powers himself, he eats the spider and it massively backfires. Basically morphs him into a swarm of mutant spiders. It's a messed up comic book, actually, funny enough, because like you see everything, and yeah. So, funny enough, you basically just gave me the backstory for a totally different Spider-Man character there.
Back to Peter Porker.
Peter Porker was a spider that got bitten by a radioactive pig. So you were perilously close when you said bacon sandwich.
I think, yeah, I thought to myself straight away, it's going to be bitten by a radioactive pig. As soon as you said the thing, I was like, yeah, that's probably what it is. All right, that's a third then.
Right. Ryan, you're going to hate this one because we're on superheroes still. We're DC this time.
Oh, he knows a bit of DC, but...
Yeah.
Not much, though.
We're original Batman series, the Adam West Batman series. The Joker, brought onto the live-action screen by Cesar Romero, who became infamous by refusing to do something while he was playing the Joker. What did he refuse to do whilst playing the Joker?
I've got no idea.
Specifically, whilst getting into his Joker costume, there was one thing that he refused to do.
You've only got to zoom in on any picture of him and you can see.
Put, I don't know. Put some on, I don't know. Fuck knows.
Wasn't so much put something on.
He refused to do the opposite, basically.
Yeah, it wasn't put something on, it was take something off more than anything.
Take his watch off. I've got no idea.
Ryan, I've got to give it to you, mate.
He refused to remove his moustache.
He flat out refused to shave. If you zoom in on any classic Joker, you can see the stubble underneath the makeup where he just painted over it.
Yep.
And he got away with it on 1960s telly because the resolution was so poor.
But he wouldn't have done if it wasn't for them pesky kids.
Right. Ryan, on to you. I've got 2 more questions in theory, with the potential for a tie break if we need it. Because actually, believe it or not, it's 3-2 on the scores. It's actually pretty close.
How's he got 2?
We gave him a freebie, remember?
Okay.
So, Ryan, if you get this one right, then it's an easy win for you. If you get this one wrong, then Laferde has a chance to tie up and I'll have to go to a tie break. So, We are doing a wrestling event on the 26th of October, themed around Back to the Future Day. It is called Back in Time. In the first Back to the Future movie, who was the first time traveller to travel in the DeLorean?
Great Scott, I know the answer. His name was Einstein, and he was a dog.
His name was Einstein. He was a dog. Yep. Einstein was the first character to travel in the DeLorean. That makes it 4-2. I had one question left without the tie-break. I can give it to Laferde as a matter of pride.
Do it.
But this is a win for Ryan. So, Laferde, to just bring the scores back at the very least. Back onto the comic books. Back onto Spider-Man. Final question I've got on my quiz, without a tie-break, is... in Spider-Man, out of all his appearances, who was the first supervillain that Spider-Man ever fought?
Yeah, it's got to be one of these most famous ones. I
think it's a trick question.
Yeah. I've got a couple of tallies on at the moment, so looking at my tallies here, I've got my scores here, and this page is all the times that Laferde said fuck knows. I ran out of space.
Laferde, we've got another podcast to record next week.
I don't know. I'm going to... So I think it's a trick question. So I'm going to say Doctor Doom.
Doctor Doom. Do you know what? Very early Spider-Man appearances were with the Fantastic Four. It's not a bad shout.
That's what I was thinking.
It's not, though, unfortunately. Ryan, I'll throw it to you if you want to have a punt.
Was it another Doctor, the one with 8 arms?
It was not Dr. Octopus.
That's what I thought.
It was, however, one of his many animal-themed supervillains.
Rhino.
Wasn't Rhino.
Lizard.
We'll get there eventually.
The
It
Lizard?
was. That was not the lizard, although in theory it could have been all the above because it was the chameleon.
Right, fair enough.
So who got the chameleon with the Fantastic Four?
No, the chameleon was a Spider-Man original villain, but he was the first proper supervillain that Spider-Man ever fought on page.
But who did he fight with the Fantastic Four then?
Fantastic Four, that wasn't one of Spider-Man's first appearances. A lot of his early appearances were with the Fantastic Four, but he did have solo appearances prior to that. And yeah, his first proper supervillain outing was against the chameleon.
On that note, this has been Talks with Dorks. That's Kurt, that's Laferde. Don't forget, you can get your cards graded at treefroggrading.com. Use the code TWD15 for 15% off. Go get your collectible cards graded in the best way possible by a reliable source and get 15% off while you do it. Also, if you're going to spend some money, why don't you go to Patreon? Isn't that right, Kurt?
Yep. Patreon/Talk Dork Podcast, same as all the socials. There is just one tier as it stands, the $3 tier, which, exchange rate nowadays is £2 and a bit. And you get everything as it stands, all the behind the scenes stuff, everything we put on that tier going forward. Like I said earlier on, we're not going to remove anything from the tier if we do add additional tiers. There'll just be more stuff on the additional tiers. But as it stands, $3, you get everything, including full access to the on-demand full show of Never Say Die. 2 versions, one with commentary, one without. Take your pick.
And the third, we've got another show coming up. When is it? What's it called? Where is it?
October 26th. It's called Back in Time, and it's at Basildon Sports and whatever the rest of it is called.
It had multiple names.
Basildon Sport and Leisure Club is the official name, but the TDW name, I'm really cool. I'm getting this initials down. TDW name is Basildon Square Garden. That's what we're calling it. And I think that's why we need Patreon money, so we can have a sign put up that says Basildon Square Garden.
That's so we can patent it.
Exactly. This is Talks with Dorks. If you haven't already, if you've got this far down the line and we are not reading out Patreon names yet, that's because you haven't joined up, so go do it. If you have got this far down and you have realised that you haven't liked, followed or subscribed, do it all. Whatever you've got to do, just make sure you do it. And if you get time, give us a review. I'm Ryan. That's Kurt. Laferde. Boys, see you later.
1 second. Hold up.
Ow.
So the Parky clip, right? Just got one last thing to say on this.
Right.
I sent this to Neve, the Parky clip. Her response was, when he tried to lean on his chair and it started unfolding again with a laughing face.
So if the third makes it to the next podcast,
He ain't going to be making it to the next show. If he does, he might have to be in hiding. See you later.
so yeah.
See you later.